At least 6,000 years in the past, when gigantic spaceships revolved around the old Earth. Many ancient Indian texts exist, and within them, you can read in detail about how, thousands of years ago, enormous spaceships hovered over our planet. These celestial crafts were described as cities in the firmament, vast and magnificent structures that defied human comprehension. At the time, people had no word for spaceship, so they called them floating cities in the sky. One day, smaller vehicles descended from these celestial cities, streaking through the atmosphere and illuminating the heavens like thousands of shooting stars. To the people on Earth, it appeared as if tens of thousands of blazing lights were falling from the sky, a sight both mesmerizing and terrifying. Now, was this merely the imagination of ancient storytellers? A flight of fantasy? No, the details are too precise, too structured, and eerily consistent with other ancient writings from around the world. Do you recall the story of the Archangel Lucifer? According to legend, he approached the throne of the Almighty and declared, "We will no longer serve you." In response, God commanded the Archangel Michael to wage war against Lucifer, ultimately casting him and his followers out of heaven. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's pause for a moment. A war in heaven. A place of ultimate peace and divine harmony, where there is supposed to be no conflict, no strife. How could war exist there? If one is truly united with the Almighty, bathed in divine happiness, opposition and rebellion should be impossible. So, what if we rethink the meaning of the word heaven in these ancient texts? What if heaven was not a place of spiritual bliss, but rather, space? Because many of our ancestors were described as being taken up into the heavens. Not only figures from Indian mythology, such as Arjuna, but also biblical figures like Elijah, Enoch, and even Abraham. These individuals were said to have been transported to the heavens, where they were taught profound wisdom and knowledge before being returned safely to earth. If we interpret heaven as space, suddenly these stories take on an entirely new and fascinating meaning. At first glance, a carved symbol of a simple handbag on an ancient artifact might seem unremarkable, just a mundane detail, easy to overlook. But take a step back, and the mystery deepens. The same handbag symbol appears across the globe, spanning continents and cultures, from Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica, from Asia to Africa, from Europe to remote islands. Cultures that, by all historical accounts, had no connection with each other, somehow all depicted the same mysterious object. What are these handbags, and why do they appear in civilizations that should have had no knowledge of one another? This global phenomenon has puzzled archaeologists for generations. The places where these handbag carvings appear are as vast as they are varied. In Mesopotamia, the symbol is found in the artwork of the Sumerians, Assyrians, and Babylonians. Across the ocean, it appears in the pre-Aztec and Olmec cultures, as well as among the ancient tribes of Veracruz. Even Göbekli Tepe, a site dating back 12,000 years, one of the oldest known religious complexes in the world, features carvings of this same handbag. The sheer spread of this symbol raises a compelling question: why? Mainstream archaeologists offer a simple explanation: perhaps these carvings merely depict ordinary bags, a common item across all cultures. After all, bags are universal. Maybe these symbols are just artistic depictions of practical tools, like bowls or baskets. But if that were the case, why do these carvings tell a different story? These handbags are rarely shown in mundane, everyday scenes. Instead, they appear in sacred contexts, held by deities or featured in mythological depictions, far removed from ordinary life. Why would a simple item, like a bag, be depicted alongside gods, divine symbols, and cosmic imagery? It's not just the recurrence of the handbags that intrigues researchers, it's their uniformity. Despite the vast diversity of the cultures that depict them, the handbags appear almost identical in form. The same shape. The same size. The same manner in which they are held. If these cultures developed independently, why would they all depict the same object in the exact same way? Could this be more than coincidence? Some researchers propose that the handbags might represent something far more profound, the cosmos itself. In this theory, the semicircular handle symbolizes the sky, while the square base represents the earth. Together, they form a union of heaven and earth, the divine and the material world. It's an intriguing interpretation, considering how many ancient cultures possessed advanced cosmological knowledge. But compared to the intricate ways these civilizations typically represented the cosmos, such a simplistic depiction feels out of place. Why would advanced cultures opt for such minimalism? Another theory suggests that these handbags could be remnants of lost technology from an ancient civilization. In an Assyrian relief, figures holding handbags stand around the Tree of Life, a symbol of divine wisdom and creation. Some speculate that the Tree of Life bears a resemblance to a Tesla coil, a device invented by Nikola Tesla to transmit wireless electricity. In this theory, the handbags may have functioned as energy storage devices, similar to batteries. Power generated by Tesla-like technology could have been stored in these enigmatic objects. And this theory isn't limited to Mesopotamia. In Egypt, symbols resembling Tesla coils have been found alongside the Ankh symbol, which may represent energy transmission. Could these handbags have been tools of a lost energy network, carrying both knowledge and power? The mystery deepens further when we look at Central America. In one Mayan carving, the god Quetzalcoatl cradles a figure holding a handbag. Some suggest that this figure is seated in a flying machine, powered by the handbag. A similar carving from Veracruz depicts a figure strikingly similar to a modern astronaut, complete with what appears to be a life support system. Could these handbags hold the key to understanding lost technologies from an ancient civilization? There is yet another theory, one that ties these mysterious carvings together in an even more profound way. The handbags, some believe, represent the transfer of divine knowledge. It's not just the handbags themselves that matter, it's who is holding them. Across cultures, these handbags are often depicted in the hands of gods or figures directly linked to the foundation of civilization. In Assyrian reliefs, figures holding handbags are seen standing around the Tree of Life, a symbol of divine knowledge and creation. In their hands, they also hold pine cones, symbols of enlightenment and spiritual awakening. The pine cone has long been associated with the pineal gland, or third eye, believed in many cultures to be the seat of spiritual consciousness. Could these carvings be depicting divine beings passing sacred knowledge to humanity? Similar depictions can be found in India, where the handbag appears in front of Shiva, the god of creation and transformation. In Indonesia, the handbag is associated with Pungu, a cultural hero who, like Quetzalcoatl and Oannes, brought wisdom and civilization to his people. These figures share a common theme: they are the bringers of culture, the teachers of humanity, lifting us from a primitive state. Historian Graham Hancock proposes that these handbags were symbols of an ancient brotherhood of sages. A global network of teachers who traveled the world, spreading knowledge and helping early civilizations rise. In both the myths of Quetzalcoatl and Oannes, these figures do not appear alone. They are often accompanied by other sages, suggesting an elite group guiding humanity's progress. If Hancock is correct, this theory may explain the sudden leap in human development that occurred around 10,000 BCE. Before this period, humanity had lived as hunter-gatherers for millennia, progressing slowly. Then, seemingly overnight, we developed agriculture, writing, and metallurgy. Could this have been the result of intervention, an ancient civilization guiding our ancestors? As the investigation continues, the mystery only deepens. What do these handbags truly represent, divine wisdom, lost technology, or a forgotten connection between civilizations? While definitive answers remain elusive, these carvings challenge everything we think we know about the ancient